Welcome back, Pod People. My guest today is Paul Ragsdale, the writer and one of the two directors of Murdercise, which is a sort of 80s throwback horror comedy about a number of murders that take place while filming an exercise video. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, Murdercise, it's clear just from looking at the poster that this is very much a deliberate throwback to the sort of videos I would get at the local video rental store in the 90s that were probably made in the 80s. Um, so I'm curious, what was it that prompted you to make this as this sort of, well, I was about to say period piece, but I'm not actually sure when the movie is set. Is it
It
set in
is
the
set in the
80s?
80s.
Okay,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is. So we did avoid, any kind of cell phones or iPhones, social media,
right,
anything like that.
right.
So it is set. I mean, we are lovers of 80s horror, specifically. That's when I grew up. That's the movies that inspired me and influenced me. And I've always been curious about sub genres. And in this one, aerobics horror is very, very tiny, but there are a few notable movies in that sub genre. Killer Workout being one of them, namely, and Death Spa.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah, I was
big
gonna say
two.
Death Spa was the one that came to mind immediately for me.
Yeah, and and I've always and Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout. It's not like a
Hmm.
narrative feature, but it is. It does feature aerobics and
Yeah,
zombies and stuff like that.
and a
Uh,
significant chunk of the original Toxic Avenger.
Right. Yeah. You can definitely place that as part of the workout horror genre. And also, I used to watch Friday the 13th Part 4 a lot. That's like the one that my favorite. And there's a scene in there, like very, very beginning, where one of the paramedics is watching an aerobics video, and it's clearly designed just not for fitness or anything like that. It's for male entertainment. And I always thought that was kind of weird. Like, what is that he was watching? I didn't. And years later, I found out it's a series of videos called Aerobicize. That was made, just having like sexy women doing like aerobics and stuff. So I thought, oh, that'd be kind of funny to take that kind of a premise, an idea, someone making something like that for the market, some sort of sexy aerobics video that's not really focused on the workout aspect, and then have that be a setting for a slasher movie. And that's kind of how Murder Size just came about, taking all these elements, and you just looking at LA in the 80s, and it was just full of things like this, like mud wrestling and bikini contests and just all this, when rock videos were being shot a lot, so you had like a rock video girls that were just like, that's like their main aspiration, is to be in a music video. And like Kelly Bundy from Remember the Children, people like that, like people who were, not that they were in LA, but just like that culture of just wanting to be on a video cassette. And that's one of the main characters' aspirations. Like, she wants to be the cover girl of this workout video. So just taking all those elements and trying to put it together and making something, something along the lines like Sleepaway Camp 2, where you have this killer who's a female, and she's taking people out one by one. So I thought that'd be a really fun template for the movie, and that's pretty much how we got Versailles.
Yeah, and then the only modern movie that I can think of that's anything like that genre is The Substance, which is about a an exercise show, but they only have a few scenes that actually depict the show like being filmed.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that, and I immediately thought Murdercise, of course, and all the people who are in the movie were like, "Hey, did you see the substance?" I was like, "Yeah, that's really cool that they're doing this, health workout video aesthetic that we, painstakingly try to recreate, and then here it is in a big budget movie, and it's like, wow, that's pretty sweet, pretty cool. It seems like that might be making a comeback, maybe."
Yeah. Yeah, so when watching Murdercise, I think the two things that jumped out to me, and so I watch a lot of horror movies, as I'm sure you could guess. Most of them I just watch on my own, but I also do have a weekly movie night where I watch it with some friends, and Murdercise was one of the ones that I watched with some friends. And so
Oh,
one of the
cool.
friends had some questions that he wanted me to ask you.
Oh, sweet.
And I think that the most interesting one is he says, I'd be curious to know your thoughts on the state of the horror industry now. Your movie struck my friend as kind of an anomaly in a day and age where horror seems to have less sexual stuff and nudity in it.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm not sure I would agree with my friend's evaluation there, but it is definitely a very sexually focused movie in a way that was more common in the past. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, can you comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's anyone who's I don't know how old your friend is, but anyone who's aware of horror movies from the 80s and 90s and watching today will definitely see a stark, difference. Even though, yeah, there are sexuality and nudity in horror movies, but it's far less, way less. Even to the point where, like directors like Eli Roth has commented on it, in the past when he makes his horror movies and how the rise of the Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer 90s horror movies, teen horror movies definitely strayed away from any kind of sex or nudity. And his bone to pick with that was like, that's just not horror. And that's not the horror that he grew up in. And today, yeah, that kind of stuff definitely rubs people the wrong way still, even if they are a horror fan. I do see people, I can definitely imagine people wincing or being uncomfortable when things show up, like in the shower scene at the very beginning of the movie. I think to me, that sets off the movie completely on the right track. I mean, that this is what this movie is about, this lurid exploitation. And then, younger viewers, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how old this guy is, but younger people definitely, are not don't get it. Like why? They want to question why is this here? Is this relevant to the plot or is this relevant to society or whatever? Whatever, way they want to come at it. They just don't get it that this is just how 80s horror movies began. Like making you feel uncomfortable or titillating you. I mean, they're both the same, whether whoever is in the seat watching the movie, however you feel. So it's definitely something that's on our minds with when the things that we do. And, I can definitely see people not taking a movie seriously because it has nudity or sexuality. But to me, I just think they're intertwined, especially with horror movies. I mean, they don't have to have it. Not every movie that I like has it, but it's you can tell when they're trying to stay away from it. When a horror movie is trying to stay away from that kind of stuff because they think it's lowbrow or something. But I just think it's part of a fun horror movie, which is what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make something serious. We're trying to make something fun that you have fun, like when you watch with a bunch of friends, drinking beer, eating pizza, and stuff like that. Those are the best reviews that I've ever heard. And they say, "Oh, I watched this with my friends, and we all just had a great time, laughing and hooting and hollering and cheering." The movie showed recently in the UK
Mhm.
on Wednesday, and I never had this movie screened in the UK before, so I was a little worried. How are these people gonna, react to it? And I got some videos back, and they were cheering and hooting, hollering, and the chainsaw scene, and the nudity, and the workout. So they got it, So it just depends on the audience if they can get it or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Since you mentioned that you're unsure how old me and my friends are, for context, we're in our late 30s.
okay, okay. So yeah,
So,
so you guys are at that tail end of the 80s, more in the
yeah, yeah.
90s.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like in the 90s, watching a lot of movies that were made in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's how we grew up.
Oh, great.
Um, so yeah, so do you think of this more as a horror movie or as a comedy?
I would say it's a mix. I mean, it's a horror comedy. I mean, any movie that has, a guy getting a chainsaw to the head is, it has to be a horror because, I mean, the guy's getting killed brutally. I
Yeah.
mean, but you can laugh at it and you can, feel joy when it happens. But yeah, like I can't call it straight up comedy just because it has so much gore in it.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. Uh, yeah, that opening scene definitely gives you a good impression of what the movie is going to be like. I think my favorite scene in the movie, and also one that really heavily features nudity, is the bit where one of the actresses is like sexually harassing the gaffer guy, the
Yeah.
electrician, And he's got his hand over his eyes. She's taken her top off, and she's trying to convince him to look at her chest.
Yeah.
And when it first started, I was like, "Ah, kind of a funny gag." And then as it kept going, I was like, "Oh, this is starting to get a little uncomfortable." And then when she just got really upset at him not looking, it became hilarious. I think that's the funniest scene in the movie, and it as watching it again, I rewatched the movie yesterday, I kept finding myself thinking like, "Is this a commentary on what we were just talking about how nudity is no longer as much of a thing in film as it used to be."
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, that scene is definitely the most iconic scene from the films, the most talked about scene. That scene alone has won awards from like other podcasts, like when they do like their year-end wrap up, like the best scene or comedic scene or nudity goes to Murdercise, and they talk specifically about Jessa Flux and Drew Marvick, who are the two actors in the scene. Even websites that are dedicated to nudity in movies, Mr. Skin, they caught this movie came onto their radar and they awarded that scene like the best nudity in a movie in 2023 as well. So that was pretty crazy. Like you said, and like you said, this day and age where nudity, how it's seen now, it's not really used a lot, and we wanted to use it in a comedic way. Like you said, it just keeps going on and on. Where it's like, okay, now it's not just some girl showing her chest. It's like she's angry and mad, and they're having this fight, and then eventually some horror stuff happens. But yeah, it's kind of forcing the audience to feel uncomfortable or to laugh and to uncomfortably laugh, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to just keep going. I mean, even just shooting it, I mean, it was just they just kept riffing and riffing, and we're like, okay, let's try this, let's try that, and let's see how far we can push it. I mean, it went even further. We were like, okay, I think maybe 4 minutes is enough. So we decided to cut it there. But it was just too much good stuff there. It was just too funny, and the people there that were shooting it, yeah, all wanted to watch, and they couldn't believe what was happening. And this is something that we had rehearsed like the day before, just with the two actors, and they were totally like game for it. So I think they did a great job, and I'm really proud of that scene actually. So it's really cool to hear your guys' reaction to it.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. So Jessa Flux, the actor uh, who we're just talking about, I've seen her in a bunch of other movies before. She was in Carousel 3. She was
Mhm.
in Shingles. She was in Debbie Does Demons,
Mhm.
and then a lot more beyond that. So could you talk a bit about the casting process for this?
Yeah. So for this one, we wanted to start off this movie working with people we hadn't worked with before, and also bring in a few familiar faces like Drew Marvick. We wrote this for him. We thought he'd just be great as this really excitable gaffer, electrician guy. And we brought back Nina Lene Kent, who plays like the '80s wild child. But we wanted to spread our wings a little bit and bring in more people what we consider out of state. We're in California, so we want to bring people from other states and that have a name in this horror world. So Jessa Flux, she just came up on my radar because she had done some work for Donald Farmer. I think it was Cannibal Hookers,
Oh,
I want to
okay.
say, that the one that she'd done, and I think she had just finished Debbie Does Demons. It was maybe the Cannibal movie first. I forget which one it was. But I wrote the scene, or I wrote the character for an actress that I know, but she couldn't do it. So I thought, well, let me try Jessa Flux. I don't know her, never talked to her. You know, I only know her for a few movies. I don't even know if she even knows who I am. Just reached out to her, sent her the script, sent her a couple of trailers of the other films that we have done, Slash Rat Party and Streets of Vengeance. And she was totally game. She said, yeah, this sounds great. I want to play this character, and she is such a professional. She learned the script for one is a great indicator of a good actor. Some people don't even know the script when they come to the set sometimes. And also, she wanted to help out with the wardrobe. But the thing is that we handle the wardrobe for all of our films. My wife, Angelica de Alba, she handles all the wardrobe for everyone in Murdercise. And I think this was like the first time that she had experienced something like that. Jessa, I mean, Because she was like, "Oh, you guys don't need me to provide anything." It's like, "Nope, you just come, show up, try on the clothes, and then we'll get going." So working with her was great. First time experience. Like I said, we're just both relieved that we were professional, and she was relieved that how professional we were, and how I was relieved how professional she was. So it was great. And then for the lead role, Kansas Bowling, she was a last minute addition because we had someone else cast in the lead, and they dropped out like 2 weeks before. And so Kansas, I knew her from as a filmmaker primarily. I knew she had acted in a couple of films, and reached out to her same way, showed her some trailers and stuff, and thankfully she came aboard and got to be in our film. And like I said, it's just like her and Jessa working with them for the first time. It was great. Um, I'm so glad they're in it, and now I can't imagine anyone else playing their roles now because they totally exceeded, went above and beyond in their roles, specifically. And of course, working with August Kiss the first time, who she opened up the movie. She's from Canada, so it was great working with her, and we love working with her. And I want to write some more stuff for her. But yeah, the casting for it, and then the other roles that we did were some people that we had in previous films, bringing them back. We hadn't worked with them in 6 years or something, so we just wanted to surround ourselves with a lot of good people, happy people that could get along, and they all did. They all got along as a team, and that would have fun with this subject matter.
Nice. Yeah. So one of the things that really jumped out at me as I was watching the movie as being unusual in films like this is that um, I didn't really like any of the characters, and the more main they were, the less I liked them. Like the main character is just really obnoxious, very, very full of herself,
Hmm.
and unjustifiably full of herself. And like the electrician character is constantly doing the thing of ignoring what the director is saying, but pretending he's listening to the director. And and as it goes on, some of the characters become like the secondary performers become more sympathetic, and like when the mafia princess character
Hmm.
gets introduced, she's relatively sympathetic.
Hmm.
Um, but I've seen a lot of horror movies where there are very unsympathetic characters in it, and typically the reason why the creators decided to do that is because they want you to want the characters to get killed. And I'm curious whether that was what you were going for or if it was something else, because I mean, this is a full spoilers podcast, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. The main
Sure.
character does not get killed. She's super obnoxious and annoying the whole movie, and I keep wanting her to get killed, and she doesn't.
You talking
So,
about Phoebe?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's the killer, so yeah, she's not gonna get killed.
she's
I
one of the killers.
Yeah, well, she's the main killer, and then you do have two other people that come in later in the movie
Yeah,
that where they can turn their attention towards.
yeah.
Um,
Although they also do kill someone before she does.
yeah, yeah, there's some serial killers running around dressing up as cops in this movie at the beginning, throughout the city, and it's totally unrelated to the story that's happening in the workout studio making the video until the two collide and then to become entwined.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so as far as like Phoebe being unsympathetic, yeah, I mean, I wanted to model her after Angela from Sleepaway Camp 2, which I same way. I found that character, obviously obnoxious, and she's wrong and she's killing people, and she's, obviously murder is wrong, like they say. But that's why you move in like this whole mafia element where murder is part of their business, and it's like they see it differently. And she tries to say, yeah, it's business, and that's kind of the tagline at the end of the movie. So I wanted these two different approaches to murder, I guess. One being for gain, one being for business, and the other serial killers being represented as some sort of sexual, release fetish, which is what serial killers do.
Right.
So I wanted these three different elements, these different aspects blending in, and you can like someone who murders. I mean, we watch mafia movies and stuff, and we like root for the character, root for the mafioso, which is, a bad person, but we still root for them because they have some sort of code or ethics. And where
Right.
this person, Phoebe, yeah, she's doing it all for selfish reasons. It's impulsive. It's obviously out of emotion, and yeah, I wanted her to be obnoxious and be a jerk, or be weird at the very least. And then you kind of see her talents, if you want to call them that, being utilized at the end, or being brought into a family of a mafia family.
Yeah.
And as far as making them again obnoxious to kill them off, mostly I want to make them obnoxious or or mean, I guess, because it just creates more conflict. Obviously, I mean it's just more
Okay.
entertaining, than having just a bunch of people who are nice and civil and moral all sitting around. It's like, no, these are young kids who are just out for themselves in this LA culture, who don't care about people's feelings. They just want their next high, basically, and just put them all together. And like, um, and yeah, you have the bully and you have a sympathetic one, but at the end of the day, they're all, like you said, jerks.
Yeah, it's interesting that you keep bringing up, Sleepaway Camp 2 because, uh, personally, I mean, I love the first Sleepaway Camp, and I love the most recent Sleepaway Camp, but I don't really like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Um, and, and in the first one, Angela is, apart from the murdering, a very sympathetic character.
right. Right.
But
She's a
yeah,
little
you're
underdog.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Hmm.
and so that's really interesting to me that 2 is the one that seems to have made a bigger impact on you.
Yeah, S2 is just much more fun. I mean, obviously. I mean, part 1 is much more serious. There's the reveal at the end that is, obviously a shocking ending, and it's much more serious movie. Part 2 is just, off the wall crazy, which
Yeah.
is why I was attracted to that more. And of course, the cover of, not Angela, but a girl with a backpack and it's like with the Freddy Krueger gloves and the
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees hockey mask. It's just, like I said, that's the one where that I have the most fun watching, and other people have the most fun watching, especially when you're in a group of people watching that movie. It's just fun. And the first one is not as fun. It's a good movie, a great movie as far as cinematic quality and story, but part 2 is just the one that you have fun with. And same way with like Slumber Party Massacre 2. Same thing, and that was like another movie that we had in the back of our minds as well. Not that there's any slumber party elements, but just a group of girls being stalked and a group of girls being left defenseless against a killer. So definitely Slumber Party Massacre 2 and Sleepaway Camp 2. They're just that's the aesthetic we were going for. We wanted to go for that aesthetic specifically.
Yeah. Okay, so thinking about, other gym-related, horror movies, I think that probably the biggest, like, visual difference between this and those is that this one is not actually set in a gym. It's set in, like, an office complex or something. So I'm guessing that you just, like, did you try to find a gym to film at, but, weren't able to find one that was willing to let you shoot there, or
No, we never wanted a gym because this is not, it's not a workout movie. It's a movie about a workout video. And so the
Right.
workout videos that were made, if you're watching them from the 80s, they were not in gyms. A lot of them were in living rooms because it was a home
Oh,
workout. So
oh, okay.
anytime you'd watch those videos like Jane Fonda or any of those, they were in a living room and they wanted you to say, you could do this at home. You don't have to do this in a gym. That's the whole point of a videotape. You put it in your house, not at a gym. So, and or just be in the studio, just like what we did. Like the Robicide video that I mentioned. If you remember, it's just all white TV studio and there's just girls
Mm,
dancing. So a lot of these videos didn't have gyms to them. And I didn't want a
okay.
gym, but we used a gym at the very beginning because there was a woman working out that's not part of a workout video. She's not part of a production. She's just working out, goes home, take a shower, and then these killers show up. So yeah, I definitely wanted a studio. The studio was always something we wanted from the beginning. I tried to get a bigger studio for the film, off on a like a TV production studio, but it just didn't work out for that reason. But we found another studio, smaller studio, actually owned by the cinematographer, which he uses for his video production. It's just not a TV studio. It just he would just use it for his news broadcasts and stuff like that. So it had like a control room and it had equipment and stuff. But yeah, it was always we always wanted that TV studio look.
All right.
I mean, we almost shot in. I almost was going to use a living room, like I said, because a lot of these take place in a living room. Because I mean,
Yeah.
Ginger Lynn, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she has her own workout video, and that takes place like in a studio. Tracy Lords, she had a workout video, was in a living room, and also there's a funny sketch from Saturday Night Live where they do like with Drew Barrymore, like this 80s workout video again in a living room. So that was just part of this aesthetic that we're going for. So we almost did that. We almost used an actual living room, but this TV studio came up, and so we took that.
Nice. Yeah, no, I confess I have not actually watched many of those old workout videos. Perhaps I should
Yeah,
check them out.
yeah, pretty funny, pretty entertaining.
Nice. So, what kind of budget were you working with this? I'd say
The-
most people. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say most people that I talk with say that like a low budget movie is 1 million or less, and a micro budget movie is 100,000 or less. If you don't feel like sharing specific numbers, some people are happy to get right into the details on that, and some people prefer not to. So,
Yeah. I mean that whole before I go into it, that whole range or that gauge of like what 100 million or million and then less than like that is I don't know who came up with that. That's like not my world. Like I'm not in that world at all.
hundred thousand,
Only
hundred
right,
thousand, not 100 million. Yeah,
right. Well, a million you said was like a low budget, and then 100,000 was a micro budget.
yeah, I'd say that's how most people that I talk to use
Yeah.
those terms.
So then I guess what I would do would be no budget. I've heard people say, but it's like,
Yeah,
well, it's not no budget. There is money. People got paid. So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like these labels, it's like I don't even entertain those. What we do is independent, low budget movies, and people might think, oh, so you got this much money. It's like no. What we did, we crowdfunded the movie, so we were able to raise at the very end $30,000, and that's probably that was the most money we had ever raised at that time. And for people like us, I mean that's a
nice.
lot of money. We could do a
Yeah,
lot with that much money because we're not um, utilizing like what big budget films use, like a whole entire crew. It's just going to be me, my wife Angie, the cinematographer, and like one other crew person. And that's just so it's just four of us making the movie, and then you have the actors, and then all the post production is done by ourselves, and all the marketing is done by ourselves, and putting onto streaming platforms is done. So no other outside costs other than that. So I think after taxes and everything, it came out to like a $20,000 that we used to actually
nice.
make the movie.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so you've made a number of movies. Are you currently working on any follow-ups to this, or like are all of your films sort of standalone?
Yeah, no sequels planned for this one as of now. We did leave it open where it could have a sequel, but yeah, everything we've been doing has just been standalone stories. They haven't had no sequels yet. We just recently released a vampire horror comedy, Only Fangs, and people are already asking for a sequel to that one. So it's like, oh man, everyone wants us to do a sequel to these films, which is really cool. I mean, it's a very cool feeling to have that people want to see more of this story or more of this character. So it's only been in recent times that people have been wanting some sort of a sequel. And it's been namely for these two, Murdercise and OnlyFangs. And if any film were to get a sequel, it'd be one of those, I would say. So I'm definitely noodling it over, but as of right now, no plans for a sequel yet.
All right. So tell me a bit about your experience with crowdfunding.
For the most part, it's been great. Um, I mean, Indiegogo, just a preface, it has gone under a great big change recently. and
Oh,
I don't think I'll be using them. A lot of other filmmakers are not happy with Indiegogo. They
I
merged with a video game or
oh,
some other company.
I've only ever used Kickstarter in the past for my projects. I haven't used Indiegogo. So what happened with Indiegogo?
They merged with another company and they are completely changing how you raise money. I think even down to how it's dispersed or distributed the funds. I think they make you wait. They call them rewards. They're not called perks anymore. I haven't gone too deep into it because when we did OnlyFans, they changed right at the end of our campaign, thankfully, because I've heard some horror
Hmm.
stories where people are still in the middle of their campaigns during this merger, and now there's funds that they have not released. I mean, technically,
Hmm.
Indiegogo has a couple of $100 they haven't released to me yet, so I don't know what's going on with that. But it used to be just very simple, very clean, and we used Indiegogo for like 4 of our films. And we when we first started off with Streets of Vengeance, which was like an '80s female revenge vigilante movie, we raised like $1,500, and that was great for us because that was I mean I couldn't believe anyone would even want to give us money. We're nobodies, and it was a good way for us to market so people could see what we were attempting to do, like with pictures and photos and videos, and they could get on board with the movie. And it just helped in spreading the word of our company basically. And then with the next one, we raised like 8,000. I think it came out to 10. Again, from the success of Streets of Vengeance, they gave us more. And then with Murdercise, that one really blew up. I don't know why. It could have been from the promo videos we are doing of the girls doing aerobics and lifting weights and stuff. For some reason, it just really got viral to the point other people were like, "Hey, yeah, I saw this movie Murdercise and stuff." And this is a virtual stranger. So that one attracted more strangers, more people I had no clue who they were to our film, and that really helped a lot. And then with OnlyFans, we raised the most we've ever raised before. Again, stepped it up, $60,000. More people that came back from Murdercise came back for OnlyFans, and that's really just been our strategy: is just try to keep the people who supported us, keep them happy, and they keep saying, "Oh man, whatever we do next, I want to support. Whatever we do next, I want to support," and that's so humbling that people want to help us make any movie that we make next. So it's always just trying to keep everybody happy. You fulfill your perks. You give them all the goods. If they signed up for a really high tier, you want to give them like sneak peeks on the movie. So we would make these little um, video promos and from the film that no one else can see, and we send it to them via email just to keep everyone engaged and keep everybody excited. So it's a full-time job doing that. It takes a lot, and just keeping everybody, like I said, happy and just wanting to come back for more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at your page. You're certainly offering a lot more different rewards than I usually do on my campaigns. So nice.
How's it been for you? So you crowdfunded films?
I have crowdfunded one film, and most of the things that have crowdfunded have been tabletop games, actually. So like role-playing games, board games,
Oh,
things
cool.
like that. Um, and I am no longer trying to make a living off of all of this, so I'm
Mhm.
not optimizing in the direction of uh, making as much money as I can. I'm optimizing in the direction of making it be as little headache as I can.
For sure.
So I only had a few. Like I had, you can get a digital copy of the movie, or you can get a DVD, or I made a VHS for like $50 that
Oh, cool.
was, yeah, I think one person backed for that. Um,
Oh,
and I did a $500 gets you an executive producer credit.
oh, sweet. Yeah.
So, which if I don't see anything like that on yours, I recommend it. There's,
Executive producer.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
for
It's
like a
it's
few hundred
down there
bucks.
somewhere. It
It
should be
is?
on
Oh,
there
okay.
somewhere. Yeah, yeah. We did that, and luckily we got a lot of
Oh,
those.
I
We did.
wonder. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said we did VHS as well, so I'm very happy to hear that.
Nice.
Like people, we do VHS for all of our film releases,
Yeah.
and yeah, we offered a ton of producer perks, which definitely helped us, saved us. And also, because this is, well, OnlyFans is what I'm talking about. It involved a lot of remote contributors and actors and roles and stuff, and that really helped us too. But for Murdercise, sorry to keep it back on Murdercise, yeah, it
No,
was
that's totally fine.
yeah, for Murdercise, it was pretty much the same thing, except we didn't offer any um no, we did do some remote roles too. Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. So Murdercise, the first time we did that, and then we did have executive producer perks. But and yeah, it can't be a headache to fulfill all those perks. You know, you gotta like send out all the movies and mail them out, and you're just at the post office all goddamn day. But thankfully, we've streamlined it so it doesn't take very long. It's not a very long process anymore to fulfill perks.
That's good. Yeah, it looks like OnlyFans has a lot of the same people working on it as Murder Size did. So that's a good sign. Whenever you can
Yeah,
make your casting crew happy enough that they want to come back for your next project,
yeah,
that's a
oh
good
yeah,
sign.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of them are asking, "What are we doing next?" Like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm writing right now, writing some things." But yeah, yeah, we love working with the people that we had worked with before on Murdercise, and yeah, brought them back. I mean, Kansas was the lead, and Jessa brought her back, Adriana. So yeah, Nina, and then we wanted to get some new people too.
Yeah. Is OnlyFans out yet?
Yes, it is out. We started fulfilling the perks back in December. It premiered in October of last year, and now it's available on Blu-ray and DVD from our Etsy store, and it is streaming only on two places right now: Relay,
Hmm,
which is a Film Hub's streaming platform, which is you have to pay for like $4.99, no
okay.
ads, and then Bloodstream TV, which is a new one, which is does have ads, but it's free, so you can
All
watch
right.
movies kind of like a Tubi kind
What
of
did you
place.
say the name of that one was?
It's called Bloodstream TV.
Bloodstream TV. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You can download that on the Roku, on your app, on your phone. And it's been doing pretty good right now. I think it's in the number one spot. At least it was yesterday.
Very
Trending.
nice. Yeah. So you are distributing with Film Hub, then I take it.
Yes.
So what is your experience like with that? Almost everyone that I interview uses Film Hub,
Mhm.
but um, a little while ago, I think in December of 2025, and we're recording this interview in January. It'll go live in March because I recorded a bunch of interviews in December.
Mhm.
Um, but in December, Film Hub made a bunch of changes to the way that they operate. And so this is the first interview that I've done since they made those changes. And I am really curious to hear your perspective on them.
Yeah. I've been happy with Film Hub up until most recently. I mean, I can't say I'm not happy with them, but it's definitely you can feel a change. Uh, our films on Film Hub are doing very, very well. Tubi is doing very, very well for our films, making quite a bit of money. You know, it's not a whole lot, but it's enough to like really sustain you. I felt like.
That's
And
good.
then after this whole change with their tiers, you know, offering $1,000 a year so they can actually like you can talk to them. They took away like communication with them through email because before people from Film Hub, like people who are in acquisitions and stuff, they would email me sometimes like, "Hey, your film is going to be on this channel now. If you want to, you know, promote it, it's going to be on Fandango. You know, promote it and here do this." And they're like, and they would ask me, "Hey, do you have any films you want to contribute or you want to submit?" And so it felt like it was like a relationship, you know, in a way. And then that all just disappeared. Now you have to pay $1,000 a year to have any kind of direct communication with an acquisitions specialist, as they call it. And I think there's even another tier, maybe like $2,000 for like special placement, as they say. So it's very, very murky. There's a lot of people who are just very, very unhappy with Film Hub right now. Like I said, it's so early. I haven't seen too much of a decline in streams or something because some people are saying, oh, they're trying to hide films that are not part of who have not selected the tier or not don't pay a subscription service. If you're not paying subscription service, you're gonna get buried and all this stuff. So I don't know. It's a lot of hearsay, a lot of rumors, and then they come out with this relay channel. and a lot of people are saying, yeah, they're holding back your film and wanting to put it on Relay on their own streaming platform, so they could, I don't know, control your your the money that you're accumulating, the money that you're earning. So I don't know. It's a lot of people have a lot of things to say. It's still too early for me to know. I'm not an expert. All I know is that I've had a good relationship with them and I've been happy with them. And I guess time will tell if there's any big, huge impact on my films. I can tell you, I am looking elsewhere. I am looking for other services like this Bloodstream TV. I heard the owner on a Film Courage podcast, and it just sounded like a great alternative. Essentially, anyone who has connections to Amazon and Tubi and all these other channels is, they hold, your fate in their hands, basically. And that's kind of what Film Hub is. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you're a way, you're an aggregator, you're a person that I can, or a company I can go through to get me to these platforms, a gatekeeper, as you, if you will.
Yeah.
And now there's more people coming into it. There's other players in the game, and I think that's good. I'm kind of spreading out my wings here, spreading out the movies, not putting all my eggs in one basket, just because the winds of change, are blowing, and I don't know which way they're going, and just to prepare, just to prepare and to protect myself, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's protecting yourself and them being gatekeepers is really the the thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I think like Amazon, I know you used to be able to submit directly to them. I don't know if you still can.
Yeah.
Tubi, you cannot submit directly to. You need to go through a distributor like that. Um, and yeah, man, Film Hub really seemed for a good chunk of time like it was sort of automating all of that
Yeah.
and doing all of that in a way that really opened things up for indie filmmakers. And so
Yeah.
I'm very concerned. I like this could all shake out in a way that's good. It could all end up being positive for everyone, but I
Yeah.
am concerned that it won't be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely concerned. I mean, just for full disclosure, OnlyFans I submitted to Film Hub, and it has yet to show up on any other channel except for Relay. Like Relay was the one. It was like 1 day turnaround, boom on Relays. Okay, well that's good. But then there's been nothing for like a month as far as like when you're on Film Hub, it'll tell you it's been pitched and it's being reviewed by other channels, and so it's like in the works, it's in the process, you can see, and then eventually it goes live. I haven't seen really any traction, to be honest, with OnlyFans, and that is a very, it's a bit
Mm.
concerning, because usually it doesn't take that long, I would say.
Yeah, and especially given that it seems like it was sort of building momentum since
Mhm.
it's the more successful crowdfunding
Yep.
than Murdercise, same crew and cast as Murdercise, or
Yep.
largely overlapping cast. So it seems like Murdercise found an audience, and then OnlyFans, you brought that audience to OnlyFans, and so the idea that it would not be at least as successful as Murdercise is really surprising,
Yeah.
and so that does really indicate that there is something else going on.
Yeah, definitely. So I started to feel that. I got nothing confirmed, but it feels that way. So that's why I did
Mm.
go with Bloodstream TV, and I can speak to the owner directly, and they have the same connections with Tubi and Amazon and Plex and stuff. So it's like, okay, well, if you have the same connections as Film Hub does, and you're offering the same rate and this and that, it's I'm gonna go with you. I'm still with Film Hub, obviously, but Film Hub is just taking so long. It's just I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what's going on.
So Bloodstream is not just like so Bloodstream is a specific streaming service that you can go
Mhm.
to like bloodstreamtv.com and watch, and you're saying they also have connections to other streaming services?
Right, right. They do. You
Interesting.
can either go just with them, or you can go. I think it's called Studio Dome. I think that's the website you use to submit your films, and they have connections, and you can say, yes, I want this worldwide and I want this for particular channels. So it's kind of like what Film Hub is offering, but they offer that under a paid tier. So this
Mm,
is, you don't have to pay for it. There's no subscription service, and you can choose kind of where you want it to go. But I mean, it's kind of the same process as Film Hub, where they pitch it to the channel, and the channel either picks it up or they don't. But
yeah.
it's virtually the same process. So it's like, well, why not? Why not go with someone else? And same thing with I don't know if you're familiar with Rhonda Shear and All Night Up All Night, the
Yeah.
show that used to be on. Now it's back, and so they
On YouTube.
yes, on YouTube under Kings of Horror. So they reached out to me too and wanted to license our films to have them appear on Rhonda's show, which is a dream come true for someone like me watching that show and being inspired by it. I mean, this whole Murdercise thing is definitely was made for USA Up All Night. So Murdercise, I don't have exact dates yet, but it is going to appear on a future show with Rhonda and Up All Night. And so I signed a deal with that. So it's like I just got to kind of go with as many people as I can, not these non-exclusive deals to, you know, promote the movie, because I can't rely on Film Hub just to be my sole, provider for my movies.
Yeah. That's really cool, getting it on Up All Night.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's quite an accomplishment, especially, like, having, as I assume you grew up watching Up All Night. It's
Yes,
funny
this
you
is oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's funny that you called it USA Up All Night because,
Right.
like, it was on USA Network, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not anymore, so it's not.
Yeah, now it's just Up All Night with Rhonda Shear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a full circle moment for me. Like you said, I did watch as a kid. It highly influenced most of my films, and it would be like, oh, I made them purposely just to be on that show, pretty much.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, I like Up All Night. I'm a little surprised that it seems like it hasn't blown up as much as I would have expected. Um, because, like, I thought of it as, like, a relatively prominent of those horror host shows where,
Yeah.
somebody introduces the film, talks about it. Uh, but I'm not sure how well it's doing on YouTube. The views of most of their videos are like about 1,000, which
Mm.
is not a ton for YouTube. Um, but hopefully it can continue to gain momentum and become more popular.
Yeah, I mean, it only started doing this late last year with their Thanksgiving special and Christmas special, and then I think they had a one maybe right before that. So they've only had a few. They haven't had a lot of shows, and I think with the right film, not saying Murdercise would be the right one, but with the right film, I think they could definitely start turning around more numbers. I think they've been doing like a couple of indie films. I think that the Assault of the Party Nerds, most recently. So I think if when they start appealing to more popular films, I think that would help them out.
All right. Yeah. I wonder if anything will premiere on it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I know they wanted all of our whole filmography, so I don't know how many of them are gonna be on the show. I know two for sure, which I don't want to reveal too much, but I know two for sure, and Murdercise is one of them.
Nice. All right. So I watched Murdercise on Tubi. In order to watch OnlyFangs, I'll be watching that on Bloodstream TV. Where else should people go to watch your things?
Tubi is the best place if you're looking just for a free, streaming platform. Obviously, it's on Relay as well, which, like I said, is a Film Hub's new streaming platform, but that's a subscription with no ads, so $4.99. You can find all my films on there as well. Amazon, of course, is another great place. I think the only one that's part of the Prime streaming is Slasherette Party. The other ones you can just buy or rent or whatever. But right now, Tubi is the best one, and pretty soon Bloodstream TV will have all rest of our films as well. And I think there's other little ones too, like Fossum. I think has a lot of our films, but right now Tubi is the place to go. Tubi is the one's the most popular, and I always recommend that to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, Tubi has Murdercise, Slasher Lorette Party, and Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, and Streets of Vengeance is also on there too. That's the other film.
Yeah. Although they seem to be having some sort of like error at the moment where if it should be that when you go to a movie on Tubi, it'll list like the main actors and the director or directors of the film, and then you can click on that and it shows you all of the other movies that they've been
Hmm.
in or worked on, which Tubi has. But right now, even though Streets of Vengeance, Murdercise, those are on Tubi and they list you as the director, when you click on your name, the only movies that it shows are Slash Lorette Party and Cinco de Mayo.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah,
I've started noticing more little like programming bugs like that on
yeah,
Tubi, which is curious.
yeah. That's weird.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
why do you do that.
uh,
Too many movies, maybe.
Is there any chance did you act in any of these movies, or do you just do behind the camera stuff?
N- the only one I ever acted in. I mean, I unofficially acting. Like sometimes, like in Slash Red Party, where we didn't have the actor, I would get into the jumpsuit of the killer and just like be shot from the back and like swing an axe. But no, I don't have any acting roles in any of these movies. It's purely writer, director, editor,
Okay.
filmmaking.
Yeah, I was my low confidence guess was maybe it's only showing movies that you appeared in as an actor, but that's not it. So I don't know what it is. Um,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah. But so this is a so people can go watch your movies on Tubi and Bloodstream TV and Relay. Do you have any social media or website or anything like that that you'd like to direct everybody to?
Yeah, if you want to keep like updated on all of our films and screenings and you know releases and things like that, I would go to our Instagram a_p_films. That's where you'll see all of our behind the scenes stuff and any kind of announcements for new films as well. I'm also on Facebook all the time, just Paul Ragsdale, Ragsdale. I'm on there all the time on DM me, ask me questions, whatever. I'm always around, talk film or anything like that. And our Etsy store is where we have all our physical media. So all of our films are on Blu-ray, DVD, and a few of them are on VHS.
Nice. All right. So the question I like to end these interviews with is, where do you see the future of independent film going?
As far as for people like me and on my level, because I am very friendly with a lot of other filmmakers. We try to keep, at least I like to be part of something and keep in contact with each other and you kind of aware of what each other's doing, and we help each other out with like recommendations of actresses and actors and locations and stuff. As far as like my league or my level of people, I can only see it just getting bigger and bigger. Some people have a more dour outlook on it. They feel like with the when we're talking about Indiegogo earlier, now being so troublesome for independent filmmakers, now everyone's like resorting to go into Kickstarter. I've seen a couple of other colleagues just raising funds on their own, like no Kickstarter, no Indiegogo, just doing it through PayPal. So I've been watching closely on these people and seeing how their campaigns that they have currently and how they're going. And I think with teamwork and camaraderie, I think we can make something of our films and help each other promote and help each other give each other tips and even sharing our projects with each other. I'll see the people that supported OnlyFans and Murdercise. I'll see all those names now helping out a friend of mine over here and another friend over here. So just really building a network, really it can only strengthen us, it can only help us get further. Um, and there are a lot of bad people, in the game, who rip off people or don't come through with their films, and people can feel cheated. They contributed to their campaigns and nothing came of it. And I think those kinds of people are starting to be weeded out, because there was a lot of that, especially like during like 2016, 20 between 2020, a lot of scam artists, I guess you want to call them, or people that just couldn't get a movie done. I think a lot of those people are now leaving, finding out that this filmmaking stuff is a lot harder than it seems. I think a lot of people thought it could be a quick cash grab. And you still see those from time to time, especially now. Yeah, AI coming into fashion, and people using AI to make their posters and to make their trailers, and they sell people on this film they're gonna do. I mean, it's classic, Roger Corman stuff, but at least he would actually make a movie. But they don't have to make a movie; they could just use their poster and AI and just keep stringing people along for years and years, waiting for this film to come out, and it just never comes out. So I see the future as being very bright. I think we're getting rid of a lot of those types of people. But there's always something coming around the corner that could mess it up. So I think we just need to be vigilant and support the people who actually make films, and support people who actually come through and deliver on their promises.
Yeah, I'm lucky that I haven't really run into much of the scam artists in this field, and so I hope that it is that you're right, that the ones that do exist are going away.
I think so. Feels like it. I'm seeing less and less of them.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that the what you were saying about building up a community is a really good perspective, that even if a company like Film Hub or whoever becomes less reliable, if you have a community and you're able to go, like, if you can't do Indiegogo anymore, if you're able to bring your community to Kickstarter or to some other crowdfunding platform,
Mhm.
Patreon, whatever, then you can hopefully, continue to build on top of that success. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the scary thing. You just don't know, and that's what I was wondering. I want to begin a new film, but it's not going to be with Indiegogo. So I'm paying close attention to see what is the best method, best option for me.
yeah, well, I've had nothing but good experiences with Kickstarter.
Oh,
I'd
great.
say the one real significant difference in terms of how they're structured is that with Kickstarter, if you don't reach your goal, you don't get any of the money. Whereas with
Mhm.
Indiegogo, you can do flexible funding where if you only reach part of the goal, you get whatever money you raised.
Which is
But
they took that away.
oh, they did. Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, then I'd say like the biggest difference between Kickstarter and any of the other platforms is that Kickstarter has a much bigger built-in audience than any of the other
Oh,
ones.
great. Oh,
And
great.
so if you're able to bring your fans with you from the other platform, then I think it is probably a really good alternative for you. So definitely check it out.
Cool, cool. Yeah, no, great. Yeah, thanks for the advice, because I have a friend right now who has a campaign on there, and he was an Indiegogo guy. He was very, very upset. So he's doing pretty good, I would say, right now on
Oh, that's
Kickstarter.
great. What's his
Yeah.
campaign?
His is Die Die Delta Pi 2. His name is Sean Donahue, and he's doing a horror film, a sorority slasher film. It's a sequel from Die Die Delta Pi.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he's doing pretty good right now. So he's
Yeah, looks like he passed his goal and he still has almost a week left on the campaign. So
yeah.
congratulations to him.
Yeah, he's a friend. We've been friends for quite a few years. Actually, he just recently, his actress had dropped out, and he had to replace her with someone else. And he was, "Oh, do you know anybody?" And it's like, I didn't know anybody that could fulfill the role he was looking for, but luckily he found someone. So, and he's like, "Hey,
That's
if you want
great.
to use her, she's really good too." So yeah, it's really cool. It was cool. They can just try to help each other out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on and talking with me. I'm going to nominate OnlyFans for my movie night tonight to watch with my
All right,
friends,
awesome.
and I'll perhaps talk to you again after your next movie comes out.
That'd be great, man.
All right.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys have fun.
Yeah. Thank you. I bet we will.
Awesome.